what's up? This is Dartman. Welcome back to Fixing to Fish. And today we're going to be fishing these Berkley Powerbait Swim Baits. And this is a Shiner Chartreuse. This is a 3-inch Pogie Swim Shad. And believe it or not, I've never used these swim baits before. I don't use a lot of Berkley stuff, to be honest with you. I think I bought some power worms many years back. But other than that, I haven't really used a lot of Berkley stuff. And I picked these up at Walmart. I thought they looked good just sitting in the pack. They were really cheap. And I said, well, you know, maybe I'll give it a shot. Alright, so here we are at the pond, and I got my my little shad, swimming shad I think they call these, tied on. See what happens. I don't want to break out the deeper unless I have to. Got a little bit of wind, that might be beneficial. Unfortunately, these weeds on the bottom are just not dying off. Probably because of the milder winters in my area. These weeds they'll keep growing, and then in the summer they just explode. And unfortunately, all these ponds are pretty much the same with these weeds. So it makes it really hard to use things that I would normally use, like open hook stuff, you know, Ned rigs. Even Ned rigs with a weed guard tend to get fouled pretty quick. So I'm just gonna let that sink to the bottom. I'm gonna pop it, kind of like a blade bait. That's my idea behind this. I'm hoping when I pop it, maybe some of those weeds are coming off that hook. Oh, that was a bite. That was a bite. Is he still on? I don't know. That was a bite. I don't think he's on. Nope, didn't take it. That was definitely a hit. If I hadn't had all these weeds on there, I probably would have got him. Got one. Yes, that's a good fish too. Yes. Yeah, buddy. That's a good fish right there. And man, I'm impressed with these little baits. Very impressed. We had some really cold temperatures. I was starting to wonder if maybe these fish had had some trouble. Maybe they froze up and died, but they're still fishing here. So that's cool. I've tried other budget swim baits and I haven't had much luck with them. I have a bunch of storms that I never caught anything. I never caught anything on storm swim baits and some other ones. So I never touched these Berkleys. And I think I was neglecting a decent bait because of that. And that bass I just caught, he didn't slam this bait. He kind of slowly came up on it and ate it, but it was really hard to tell if I actually had a fish on or if I was just in the weeds because it was just dead weight. And that's going to be typical for these wintertime fish. They're not going to fight you quite as much as when they're active in the summer. So it just felt like a big wet sock hanging off the end.
Nope. And that's basically what I felt when I caught that fish. It felt like I just caught a bunch of weeds. So anytime I get any kind of weight on the line, I'm setting the hook. It's like the old jig fishing saying, hook sets are free, so don't be cheap with them. Same deal. I mean, that's basically what you're doing. You're basically swimming a jig, because inside these things is a jig head. So it's not too unlike swimming a jig. My rule is if I can catch something on a bait more than one time in a row, say like 3 times, that's a good bait. If I can't catch a fish 3 times in a row on a bait, I usually end up putting it back in the box and forgetting about it. I got fish on. Got one, it's a little one. It's not too bad. All right, so that's 2 in a row. All I need is one more to confirm that this is a good bait. So that's a nice little fish. All right, we got bass number 3 here on the Berkley. So in my opinion, this product is a good product. Bass number 3. You know my rule, 3 in a row, you're good to go. So I gotta say, I'm really impressed with this little Berkley bait. I regret not trying it sooner. That's gonna do it for me today, but I gotta say I'm really impressed with these Berkley Powerbait 3-inch Powerbait Swim Shads and Shiner Chartreuse. You get a 5-pack, cost me about $2 and some change at Walmart, and they work great. Only negative is the open hook. It does collect a lot of crap, but I gotta say it came through it a lot better than some of the other swim baits I've used out here, especially the live target, which is supposed to be semi-weedless, and it still picked up a lot more crap than these. Overall, I think they're a great bait for my conditions, and it's tough out here. You know, it's been a long time since I caught anything out of that particular pond, and the last time I caught, I think I was fishing craws, so it's been a while, and I was able to catch 3 fish in about an hour. Recommendations, I would go with a medium action rod if you're going to be fishing the 3-inch with a very sensitive tip, because a lot of those bites were really subtle and really hard for me to tell I had a fish on. Mainly because it's winter and these fish are just not going to fight as hard, and because you get hung up on the weeds a lot, it's really hard to tell what a fish is and what a weed is. And when in doubt, set the hook, because maybe 1 out of every 10 casts there'll be a fish. At least for me it was. And like I said, setting the hook's free, so don't be cheap with it. Better to set the hook and at the slightest idea than to lose a fish in a particularly hard time of the year. I would definitely use a fluorocarbon leader, or at least a mono that's low visibility. I like fluoro just because you could set the hook harder, really get that hook point in there. Hooks are very sharp. They're a little thick for how big the bait is, but they're sharp enough that if you put some pressure on that line, that hook will go right in. I haven't had any problems with these things swimming not straight, but if you do, I've heard that if you boil some water, dip the end of the tail in, it'll straighten it out. And I've also heard that sometimes that'll actually soften the plastic up and make the action a little better too. I didn't find a need for that, but I've heard that sometimes you can get bad packs. And I think that's just because they're mass produced and it happens. Anyway, that's going to do it for me. Thanks for watching. Really enjoyed fishing this bait, and I'll be taking it with me to my next spot. Till next time.